Hello, my name is Colin Smith. I am pianist and teacher at Wonderland Performing Arts. In this video, I'll talk a little bit about monologues, a public service announcement for the theater industry, and some trivia at the end of the video. Let's go. Now, first on our list, we're going to talk a little bit about monologues. Personally, my favorite monologue comes from Romeo and Juliet. Now, for those of you who did not know, Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy. If you've been living under a rock, I imagine this is news to you, so welcome. Juliet, in this scene, is bemoaning the time it takes for her nurse to bring word to Romeo of her affections. Taking into account the context of the storyline, you have a window into the world of Juliet and her feelings. She's very young, and her impatience and youthful emotions come to light in this monologue. Taking it out of context, you as the actor must portray your versatility as an actress on the stage within a short amount of time. At the beginning, we take note of the time and how long it has been since the nurse left. She jumps widely to conclusions and then begins her long lament, her complaint about, well, old people. This could go one of two ways, into a more dramatic effect or a more lighthearted, impatient effect. The choice is yours. Now let's listen to a little bit of the monologue. The clock struck 9 when I did send the nurse. In half an hour she promised to return. Perhaps she cannot meet him. That's not so. Oh, she's lame. Love's heralds should be thoughts, which 10 times faster glide than the sun's beams, driving back shadows over luring hills. Therefore do nimble pinioned doves draw love, and therefore hath the wind-swift Cupid wings. Now is the sun upon the highmost hill of this day's journey, and from 9 till 12 is 3 hours, and yet she has not come. Had she affections and warm youthful blood, she would be swift in motion as a ball. My words would bandy her to my sweet love, and him to me. But old folks, many feign as though they were dead, unwieldy, slow, heavy, and pale as lead. Oh, God, here she comes. Now then, the wild range of emotion she talks about in the story can be navigated in different ways by you. Your choice to gesture can be graceful in some cases, or it could be more firm and excitable. Perhaps she cannot meet him. Oh, that's not so. Thus, there is this calm approach to the line, as opposed to an excitable one. Perhaps she cannot meet him. Ah, that's not so. This youthful energy can be portrayed in a restrained manner or a wild, all over the place manner. This young girl, Juliet, is extremely, what's the word? Angst. There is a lot of angst in this monologue, all because of, well, bemoaning the postal service of sending her nurse to Romeo. She both hates the fact she cannot see Romeo because of the divide between the families, but there are cultural rules of the time period that prohibit people from meeting one-on-one. Without a chaperone would be absolutely unheard of. So, you take your chances with this monologue. See if your version can bring to light your own emotions of impatience or longing for something that is taking too long. Good luck. Let's talk a little bit about the theater industry. In this next scene, I will demonstrate why it is very important for someone to have the right props. Thank you. Hello? Yes, Mr. Carver? No, Mr. Carver. Well, if I may speak candidly, it would be a mistake at this time. You see, the way in which you have behaved in recent days has been rather unbecoming. In short, I would say that you might find yourself alone in this new venture. Meaning, no one is coming to your birthday party in the conference room. Give you an example? Walking around the office with underwear on your head. Using your fishing rod to steal other employees' staplers. And consistently burning the popcorn every Friday. No, the smell is not a new cologne. Yes, I'm sure you can take the cake back to Walmart. Yes, perhaps next year. But what's that? Love you too, Dad. And now I think it's time for a brief intermission into the world of classical music. Listen as we perform The Great Reverie. Now then, as we talk about theater trivia, I think one of the greatest examples of good theater literature is a script and book that can flow seamlessly from dialogue into the music. This is a very important part of making a musical, well, good. Now then, one of the best examples is probably Oklahoma. It was world renowned for its ability to move the plot and enhance the characters with the music. Beforehand, we had musicals that were vaudeville-esque. The vaudeville scene shows, the collection of entertainers that did this and that, did not present a fully fledged story. The music was to take a break from the plot, maybe have the audience tap their toes for a while, and then return to the story. So each time they got bored, a new song would appear. While a ramshackle approach to musical theater, it was what they did. My personal favorite example would be from the musical She Loves Me. As Miss Abolish is eager to prove herself to Mr. Marichek and to the other clerks that are watching, she takes a musical chocolate box and presents it to one of the customers. Where are my lines? Her example is as follows. Wait, this is a musical chocolate box. It has the three elements of good taste: attractive to the eye, attractive to the ear, and functional. This little box has been a lifesaver to many women who have a tendency to overweight. And don't we all? We sit at home reading a good book or listening to a symphony, and without realizing it, our hand slips into the chocolate box. We become indiscreet, eating sweet after sweet, but we know all too well where that may lead. And thus, the saleswoman has become from stuttering about why the box looks nice to what the box is truly for. A diet regimen. Ha! This is very important as it is a seamless example of flowing from one medium to another. It keeps the audience processing the information of the story in different ways, from conversation that takes place in everyday businesses to music that is both beautiful, attractive to the ear, and functional for telling a good story. I wholly recommend that you listen to the entire score and perhaps even watch the different versions of it on YouTube. The version from 1978 is a little too lighthearted. And of course, the Broadway version with Zachary Levi and Laura Benanti is magnificent and wonderful in every way imaginable. You're welcome. And now we come to our composer spotlight. In moving from different mediums, from art as a visual aid to music, Rodgers and Hammerstein effectively created a new genre for storytelling. Were they one of the first? Probably not. But they were certainly one of the best of the 20th century. In the example from earlier, Oklahoma is one of the most magnificent classical examples of musical theater. In a more dramatic light, South Pacific has some of the most heartrending storytelling of love in World War II amidst the Pacific Islands. And in one of my personal favorites, the storytelling in The Sound of Music is timeless. The melodies are unforgettable. They are melodic, educational in some regards, as well as invaluable to the characters who sing them. I think it was Hammerstein who said that the audience isn't going to go home humming the scenery. And so they took that to heart and created some of the most wonderful, uplifting stories that the stage has ever known. Their lesser examples, such as Flower Drum Song or Allegro, have some beautiful melodies, but the cohesiveness of the storyline was a hit or miss. If I may float to an opinion for a moment, Carousel is probably one of their lesser stories. The idea of opening Act 2 with a clam bake is just not my thing. Nor is the idea that the carousel itself is not on stage for a very long time. I'm going to write a strongly worded email on this effect. But before we go, I would like to say a quote from Dale Carnegie. Develop success from failures. Discouragement and failure are two of the surest stepping stones to success. This room where I practice, this is a place full of mistakes, both in how I hang the artwork and how I practice my dialogue or my music. I am free to make mistakes because then my ears tell me where it was and my brain can help me overcome these obstacles. I wholly recommend that you listen to music every day and even listen to yourself, because we are our own critics and we can always learn. I will see you soon.